show you my toys.
Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing you another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the Mafex Ghul figure. This is from the Dark Knight Trilogy, specifically from Batman Begins. This is Liam Neeson portraying Ghul, and he was posing as Henry Ducard in the film. He's in his League of Shadows ninja training outfit. Really, really cool to have a guy in a League of Shadows ninja outfit. He comes with an alternate head which has the Ghul ninja mask on him. So for me, I actually bought this guy. What appealed to me the most is that he had the generic League of Shadows look to him. So I bought more than one of these figures for a little bit of army building purposes for some Ghul ninjas. I think it's a really, really cool opportunity. Don't get that kind of a figure too often. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging here. You can see here on the front, Mafex is the 78th figure in the Mafex line. He comes with two different heads, a couple of swords it looks like, and a bunch of different hands. Like I said before, this right here is what I'm going to be doing with my figure, and I'm pretty excited about it. So on the top of the box, we've simply got the Dark Knight Trilogy logo and Ghul standing there. On the side, he's posed up standing there. The other side, posed up again. On the bottom, barcode, a bunch of miscellaneous credits. And on the back, you can see here he is holding his sword. Here he is the back of him. Love the way that looks. This right here, once again, is what I got this figure for. So I will say that I got my figure from AmiAmi.com. I may not be pronouncing that right. AMI.com. It's some Japanese retailer where I get most of my Mafex figures from. You have to pre-order to get it locked in there, but the price is way better there than any of the American retailers. You're looking at getting him for, I don't know, $67 or so once you convert the Japanese yen. And US retailers, you'll probably be getting this guy for $100 or plus. Absolutely ridiculous. So let's go ahead and check this guy out. I hope he delivers on the hype I've set for myself. Like I said before, did get more than one of these guys for army building purposes. Been saving up for this guy for a long time, slowly putting a little bit on my PayPal account, a little bit in there, sold a few items off, used most of that. I only ended up paying for about 3 of these figures out of pocket right now. But League of Shadows Army, not too often you get an opportunity for this. And then before I go opening all these guys up, here they are, all 9 of them, in their glory. It's not something you see every day. Pretty impressive. I've never purchased more than 4 Mafex figures before. This is unprecedented even for me. And then as you can see here, here is my unopened version of Ghul claiming his rightful spot with the other Mafex figures in front of my comics. These are the most recent Mafex figures I've acquired. The other couple Bruce Waynes. Of course, they're going to be next to all the other recent Mafex figures I've acquired as well. As you can see here, on the side, we've got other recent Mafex releases. Just kind of ran out of room on that shelf, working on the next shelf. Alright, well now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is laid out with all of his accessories. It looks like he comes with a combined total of 8 hands, 2 heads, a sword, and the handle of the sword so it can go into the sheath as if it's holstered, and of course a stand. But before we look at his accessories, let's check out the actual figure. And I want to make it clear, for me, this review is not on Ghul. This review is going to be on a League of Shadows ninja figure. So far, I'm not disappointed with what I'm seeing. Face sculpt looks really good. I like it. I have the Soap Studios version, and it's pretty bad. The Mattel version is probably better than that. His suit, it looks nice. I like the armor. I like the shoulder pads. I like the stitching and the sword in there. Old school ninja style. Love the gauntlets. Something I really liked in the movie. Kind of that's where Batman got his from. Really liking what I'm seeing. One thing I'm not liking is this flesh colored neck. I have a feeling that's going to look really stupid later. And then here's the figure broken down as far as he can go with all of his removable parts detached. If any of his other parts are removable, I don't even want to know about it. If you start popping out limbs on these Maifix figures, they get looser and looser, as I recall. And then here are all of them broken down as far as they can go. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, but 8 of them in front of you. Add the one that is in my unopened collection, a total of 9 of these guys. Army building at its finest. So next, let's take a closer look at his accessories. Like I said before, he comes with 2 heads, 8 hands, a sword, an extra sword handle, and of course the Maifix stand. Now, I'm not much of a stand guy, so I'm not actually even going to bother opening the Maifix stand out of the package. It's just going to go into a huge box full of stands. But these things are pretty nice. They can achieve flight poses, action poses, etc., etc. So next, let's check out his 2 heads. So he comes with 2 heads. One is the unmasked Ra's al Ghul head, and one is the Ra's al Ghul head with the ninja mask on top. Me personally, I'm way more excited for the ninja mask, as I'm going to use them for League of Shadows ninjas. So let's look at the Ra's al Ghul head first. Here he is with his unmasked head, Henry Ducard, Ra's al Ghul, good Liam Neeson likeness. I must say that this unmasked head looks considerably better than the Soap Studios or the Mattel Ra's al Ghul head. His goatee looks pretty nice, his hairline, facial structure. And then here's a closer look at his face. Really liking his goatee, really liking the detail in his hair. Pretty nice figure so far. But I must say, I got this guy to use as a League of Shadows ninja, and I have different plans for this unmasked head. And then here you can see on the far left we've got the Mattel Movie Master Ra's al Ghul. In the center we've got the Mafex Ra's al Ghul head. And on the far right we've got the Soap Studios Ra's al Ghul head. And I personally really don't like the Soap Studios head at all. Back when the John Wick figure came out, I went ahead and bought 2 of these guys because the outfit he's wearing looked almost identical to the outfit that Ra's al Ghul wore in Batman Begins. And I figured I'd put this Ra's al Ghul head on this body and see how it works out. And this is how that turned out. I must say it looks absolutely great. Even his skin tone matches John Wick's skin tone. This is exactly what they should have released in my opinion. To me, this is my Ra's al Ghul figure from the Nolan trilogy. And then we've got the League of Assassins Ninja is what I bought today. And then as you can see here, the Mattel Movie Master figure is the suited look I was going for, but that John Wick body works just perfect. You can see he's got a black jacket, black shirt, black tie, just like the John Wick figure, just like the Ra's al Ghul is supposed to have. Only difference is he doesn't have gloved hands. Honestly, I probably have some gloved hands in my fodder pile I can find for him, but I'm okay even without them. Next, let's look at his masked head. This is a League of Shadows ninja mask. This is the head that I'm most excited for. This is going to be my figure's default head. I bought this figure to be used as a League of Shadows, League of Assassins ninja, not to be used as Ra's al Ghul specifically. And then here he is, wearing his masked head. I must say, the flesh on his neck is just bothering the heck out of me. It looks awful. I don't feel like that's what it's supposed to look like. The mask itself looks great. Really liking that overall look. Definitely pulls off the League of Assassins ninja look that I was going for. Now looking at the back of the package, they definitely show him with a black neck when he's wearing his masked head. This figure did not come with an alternate neck, and I have some other Maifix figures that did. And you know, I probably do have an extra black Maifix neck somewhere in my fodder pile, but I darn sure don't have 8 of them. Kind of disappointing that they seem to be showing you something here that they didn't come with. And then here's the Maifix head compared to the Soap Studios masked ninja head. I must say I think the Maifix one looks a little bit better. The gap in the eyes is a little bit too big on the Mafex one, but too small on the Soap Studios one. Head is bigger on Soap Studios, but the Mafex one is an overall better execution. And then here they all are wearing their masked heads, all of the ninjas. Man, I must just say this neck thing is really just bothering me. I think I'm going to have to paint these necks black. Just totally interrupts the aesthetic of this guy. I think it would even look better to have a black neck with the unmasked head than it would to have the masked head with an unmasked neck. I think I'm going to go ahead and paint all these guys black before I continue on with this review. I'm okay with the head possibly looking a little bit worse with the unmasked head, since the main purpose of this is for League of Shadows ninjas. So I went ahead and popped his head off, took the guy's side, painted the neck area black. Definitely is going to look better in the long run for my League of Shadows ninjas. Now here he is once I painted the neck with his unmasked head. I must say maybe I should have kept one of the figures with a flesh-colored neck, but as a whole, I find it detracts ever so slightly from his unmasked look, but what you gain from his masked look far outweighs this, so I'm very happy to have painted every single one of my guy's neck. You can kind of see here, maybe it looks a little bit odder, but I'm cool with it. It looks so much better with the actual ninja mask. And before I show you with his Ra's al Ghul masked head on, here he is with the Bruce Wayne head that came with the Dark Knight Rises Bruce Wayne, very recently released from Mafex. It was a little bit difficult to shove his head onto the peg, but I was able to get it to work, and it looks pretty decent, so we can have Bruce Wayne as he was in his League of Shadows outfit, and you can also have Ra's al Ghul, and you can have him as a generic ninja. And then here is both Bruce Wayne and Ra's al Ghul with their masks off, both in their League of Shadows ninja outfits. Bruce Wayne has completed his training, both of them are here. He's getting ready to test Bruce Wayne, as you recall in the movie. Does work out good for both these guys. Pretty cool options for this figure. And then here's the figure with the masked head on, with the neck painted black. You can see how much better it looks than it did before. God, it was really bothering me how that flesh interrupted this. Now I finally have my League of Shadows ninja the way I wanted. Alright, well now that I've painted the neck of all of these guys, here are all 8 of them with their masked heads on. League of Assassins ninjas. Army building at its finest. This is the first time I've ever done something like this with Mafex figures. I think I got 4 Honor Guard Jokers, 3 of Bank Robber Jokers, but nothing like this before. This is just awesome. Look at these guys. Finally I have my League of Shadows that I've been wanting for a long time, based off Batman Begins. Next, let's check out this guy's hands. He does come with 8 of them. 2 are fisted, 2 are completely open, and then it looks like we got 2 that sort of hold something small. Of course, he doesn't come with anything small to utilize these with. And then we've got 2 that are sort of fisted but can hold an item like his sword. Now here he is with 2 of his fisted hands equipped. As you can see here he is getting ready to fight someone. Then here are a couple of the ninjas as they're getting ready to fight each other with their fists. Then here he is with his open hands, a little more casual, a little more sort of default or relaxed. Maybe they could be touching something, picking something up, etc. And here they are, shaking hands with one another. Imagine what kind of secret ninja handshake these guys have to perform. Then here he is tapping his buddy on the shoulder. Here he is as he's admiring one of Ra's al Ghul's newest acquisitions. Let's say this is the Soul Taker sword. Next, here he is with his hands that appear to be able to hold a smaller item. I must say that I was a little confused why they included these hands, because he only has the sword to hold, and these didn't seem to really serve any sort of purpose. The only thing I could sort of think of to do with these hands, say you got a ninja taking a sword out, getting ready to fight the other guy. Maybe he uses his elite ninja training to just grab the blade without taking any damage. I was really hoping he'd use both hands to hold this blade like this, but the figure simply cannot do that. And then here he is with his hands that are able to hold an item. As you can see here, there's a little bit of a hole in both of these hands. Able to hold a sword, absolutely no problem. They kind of double up nicely as a fist as well. And then here he is holding his sword with his open hand. I wanted to see if he could hold both hands onto the handle, but unfortunately his hands just do not go in that way. This guy doesn't have a bicep cut, which prevents him from being able to do some of those things. All in all, looks pretty cool. I noticed that he's able to kind of reach back because if he's pulling his sword out of the sheath, it lines up very nicely there. And then even though they never held two swords in the movie, this guy's able to hold two of them with each one of his weapon holding hands. Looking pretty cool here. I'm pretty sure these are going to be my default hands for this guy. His right hand able to hold a sword and his left hand being completely open. Just seems like the ones that are going to do it the most for me personally. Next, let's take a look at his actual sword. It is completely black. Looks pretty sharp here. He also comes with the handle of the sword, a duplicate. When I first saw these in the package, I thought to myself, oh cool, that's probably like he broke the sword at the end of Batman Begins. But no, this sword handle is intended to fit into his sheath as if his sword has been holstered. I must say, I prefer a working sheath where you can put the entire sword in. But if this is the only way they could do this, then so be it. I would hate for them to have given us a sword that would easily break off inside of there. I know Soap Studios gave us the exact same type of weapon, sword, and handle to go in the sheath. And then on the left-hand side, here are the Mafex accessories. And on the right-hand side, here are the ones that came from Soap Studios. Once again, I noticed they're both black, which means at least they know they got the colors right. Not like both companies messed up. Soap Studios also came with a silver version. I think one was for Bruce Wayne, one was for Ra's al Ghul. And really not too much different, I must say. I think the Soap Studios sword is perhaps a little bit better. The detail on the handle and the slight coloring, but not too much difference. And then here he is with his sword handle put into the sheath. Looks very convincing. As you can see here, it fits in there very stable. Looks like a sword is in there. One thing I think is really cool is he can put his hand all the way back as if he was grabbing his sword out of the sheath. Looks absolutely fantastic. And then here they all are with their swords in their sheaths, loaded up, ready to go. And then here they are pulling their swords out, getting ready for war. And then here they are getting ready to rock out with their swords out. Now that we've taken a detailed look at his accessories and features, next let's check out the height of this figure. These Mafex figures are typically slightly bigger than Mattel Movie Masters and slightly smaller than Mattel DC Universe Classics, so sitting between 6 and 6.5 inches typically. So this guy here looks like he's sitting just a hair above 6 inches, maybe 6 1/8 inches, or ever so slightly smaller than that. Next, let's check out this guy's articulation. So first of all, he has a head. It can tilt, it's on a ball joint, it can go around considerably. It can look down about that far, up about that far. I will say his neck has two different sort of joints or movability points. If you remove his head, you can kind of see here his neck can also move at the base as well. Next, his shoulders go out about 90 degrees. They're on kind of a ball joint side of there as well. Shoulder pads are with soft material. They're slightly movable. They're glued ever so slightly with a really small piece there, so don't put a lot of pressure on them. I had one come off, I had to reglue it. And it was rather difficult getting the small piece that's way up in there to touch the right piece and not get stuck to his arm, etc. So his arm go out and around. Pretty cool. You can see it can pop out with fair ease. Not nearly as bad as previous Mafex releases. I've been handling these figures for quite a bit doing this video so far, and that is just the second time that I've had any of the arms pop out. These guys are a lot sturdier than the previous Mafex releases. He has no bicep cut here, and I will say that is detrimental to the figure. A lot of poses he cannot achieve. His arm really can't go that way. It's frankly really annoying. He's kind of got some sort of double jointed elbows, so completely straight, and then go up. Here's what one part does, and here's what the other part does. Unfortunate to use double jointed elbows just to achieve a 90-degree angle. Then his wrist, of course, it can go around, and it is hinged as well. Then ab crunch. Seems like there's absolutely nothing going on here. I feel no articulation under the armor. He's got a weight swivel ball inside of here. Not only can go around, but he can move around quite a bit. So putting him straight, top to bottom, he can look back and up that far, and down that far with all of his different articulation put together. His legs pretty much go out a full 90 degrees, can do the splits. There's little cuts here to allow you to move the legs properly outside. Go forward, not 90 degrees, and back barely at all. You can kind of see the articulation inside of here. So then his legs, also double jointed, but can't achieve quite as much as a double jointed leg should be able to. Really can only get 90 degrees. Maifix has unique designs to their elbows and knees. So then his foot, it can tilt just a tiny bit, go up and down. He does have toe articulation as well. And of course, yes, it can also go side to side. So these guys are pretty articulated. Just really wish they had that bicep cut. Next, let's check him out compared with some other action figures to see how he fits in both scale-wise and style-wise. We'll start out by looking at him with some other Mafex figures. Look at the entire Dark Knight Trilogy collection completed. Then we'll look at him compared with some other army builders from my Ra's al Ghul League of Shadows, as well as Ra's al Ghul figures. Here he is next to Batman from the Dark Knight Trilogy. The only fair one to compare him to is the Dark Knight Batman 3.0, which is what this one is. This is the third version of the Dark Knight Batman they've made, but with the new quality control that Maifix is doing, he's pretty consistent with this League of Shadows ninja. Here he is with all the different various Batman villains, specifically from the Dark Knight Trilogy. I must say, looking at these guys, I feel like I need to get another Joker 2.0 so I can display him in his regular Joker outfit because he is far superior to the 1.0. I also feel like I need to get a second Harvey Dent so I can have Harvey Dent and Two-Face separately. I think I'm okay with not having two Banes for the two different looks or two Scarecrows, but I do feel like I need to go back and get this Joker and Harvey Dent eventually. And then here they are next to my entire collection of Dark Knight Trilogy Mafex figures. I'm not sure if you can see literally everything, but from left to right. First we've got the Fear, Ghul, Demon Batman. Then we've got Joker 1.0 as well as Jail Cell Joker, made out of Joker 2.0, as well as two Joker as Bank Robber. I use them as Joker Thugs. So we've got Scarecrow, Bane, Two-Face, Catwoman 1.0 and 2.0, Batman 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0, Bruce Wayne, a few Honor Guard Jokers as various cops, 8 Ra's al Ghuls to be, we've got Ra's al Ghul, his mask off, Bruce Wayne in the ninja outfit with his mask off, and then 6 Ra's al Ghul League of Assassins ninjas. We've got Ra's al Ghul in the John Wick body, and then we've got the Batman Begins Batman. For my collection to feel truly complete, there are 3 more figures that I want. That's going to be Joker 2.0, so I can display him in his regular Joker outfit. Another Two-Face, so I can have him as Harvey Dent and Two-Face at the same time. And then another Batman Begins Batman, so that I can make the survival suit Bruce Wayne and utilize those parts and have them on display at the same time. Oh, and let's not forget about the Batpod as well. So this is what these figures have got for me. We've got 6 League of Assassins ninjas in the back, We've got Ra's al Ghul in his ninja outfit with his mask off, as well as Bruce Wayne in his ninja outfit with his mask off. And we also have a Ra's al Ghul head on a John Wick body, making a great suited Ra's al Ghul. I do have some extra Bane hands that would probably work for gloved hands for him as well, but I really like him the way he is right now. Even though they will be on my shelf with a Bruce Wayne and a Ra's al Ghul unmasked, as well as 6 ninjas, when I'm actually using these figures, this is how they'll be when taking them out and posing them and messing with them and having fun making displays. 8 members of the League of Shadows. And then here he has next a bunch of DC Cinematic Universe figures. And then here he is next to some other Mafex lines and various Mafex suited figures. He does fit in scale-wise, pretty much perfect with the other Mafex lines. Next, let's check him out versus some other League of Shadows ninjas in the exact same style from Batman Begins. Here he is with, and I believe this is Mattel, 5-inch basic figure from Batman Begins. You can see his mask is kind of ripped over time, but this is how he's intended to look. Very similar to this guy, actually the exact same character. And of course, if you take his mask off, you've got this guy right here. And then here they are compared with their Soap Studios counterparts. These Soap Studios figures are quite expensive, and honestly, they were a disappointment. These Mafex guys are completely destroying them quality control wise. Like the Mafex ones, a whole lot better than the Soap Studios ones. If I go back in time, I probably would have steered clear of Soap Studios. Now that I have them, I appreciate and enjoy them for what they are, which is fairly a big disappointment. Next, let's talk about army building and my Ra's al Ghul collection in general. So I've been looking for a good League of Shadows for a long time. I will say the Arrow figures are pretty nice, but ever since way back when, been interested in army building and kind of got crazy with Ra's al Ghul along the way. And ever since way back in the day when it was just 5-inch figures and there were no options for Ra's al Ghul army building, I got this guy and bought a bunch of him because I thought he has a mask on, looks like it could be sort of a just generic Ra's al Ghul soldier. These guys used to be my 5-inch League of Shadows. Boy, have we come a long way since those days. And then when the 5-inch Batman Begins line was out, there wasn't really anything good for army building. Sure, I probably could have got a bunch of these guys with the masks on, but at that time, 6-inch figures were becoming the thing. I still got carried away and had to get all the different exclusives and variations of Ra's al Ghul, Bruce Wayne, and Henry Ducard. And as time progressed, there still were not a lot of options for 6 or 7-inch League of Shadows army building. I ended up buying 3 of these DC Direct Mask of Tengu Batman figures from Nightfall. In the comics, Bruce Wayne was training with Lady Shiva in this outfit, and she's affiliated with the League of Shadows often. I thought maybe this would work. And then when DC Direct made their Son of Batman line, they made a Ninja Man-Bat. In the comic, Ra's al Ghul had an army of these Ninja Man-Bats. This is a Man-Bat that is not Kirk Langstrom. Had to get at least a couple of these guys. But still, just not having proper 6 and 7-inch League of Shadows members. This is in the DC Universe Classics days, DC Direct, just no one gave us what I was looking for. I custom made a couple of these Batman the Animated Series style League of Shadows members and a Vertigo to go with them, but still just not quite the same. You can't really pose and play with these guys as much as you'd like to. Paint will chip off, etc., etc. And then when they started making Movie Master figures in the 6-inch scale, I went ahead and got a whole bunch of Survival Suit Bruce Waynes and sort of used them as League of Shadows substitutes. His Survival Suit outfit was sort of based off his League of Shadows outfit anyway, so it kind of worked out for me. Maybe a little bit of a stretch. And of course, you can never have too many ninjas. Here's a few altered versions of the Survival Suit Bruce Wayne, totaling 10 Movie Master League of Shadows ninjas. And then around the time the Arkham games were out, I discovered this figure. It wasn't new at the time, from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Thought I made an absolutely perfect League of Shadows member from Talia's Elite Guard from Arkham City. In addition to that, each one of these came with one of these Asian-style entryways in the background here. Big home run discovering this figure, 7-inch scale, works great with DC Direct figures. And then on down the road, DC Direct released this Dark Archer figure from the Arrow TV show. Dark Archer was another archer that had comparable bow skill set to Green Arrow in the show. Turned out he was Malcolm Merlyn. Turned out he was a member of League of Shadows. Turned out a ton of them pretty much all wore the same outfit. This is a standard League of Shadows member outfit from the Arrowverse. And then, of course, I had to get numerous of these guys for the League of Shadows. When this figure first came out, I wasn't watching Arrow. I didn't even know Malcolm Merlyn was a member of the League of Shadows. And I had intended to army build them anyway because I thought they looked perfect for that purpose. This figure ended up being why I got into the show. I watched the show because I found out he was League of Shadows. I went all the way through season 1 to get to 2, and they had some really cool League of Shadows army moments in that season. And a little while later, they released Malcolm Merlyn with his mask off. Pretty cool, and I thought to myself, ooh, I can army build even more with this guy. So my plan initially was to get 5 more of these Malcolm Merlyns without masks on and put 5 random heads on them for 5 League of Shadows members with their masks off. And I thought, that's just not quite good enough for me. So what I ended up doing was I bought 5 more of these guys and 5 more of these guys so that I could. And I did remember this guy's head here. Underneath, it has sort of a ninja mask on, which I think is such a cool feature. So I figured it'd be a little bit better if I head swapped and put the unmasked heads inside the hoods and then gave the ninja masks on the unmasked Merlyn body. And then, of course, as always, got carried away, and here are a combined total of 16 of the Malcolm Merlyn figures. I've got 5 of them with no masks on, hoods on, 5 of them with masks on and hoods on, and then 5 of them with masks on and no hood on, and then Malcolm Merlyn here to lead the pack. They're a little bit larger than this Mafex figure, and I think the Mafex figure maybe I like just a hair better because it's the kind of ninja that I really like. But these Arrow figures are fantastic as well. And in semi-recent history, Soap Studios released their version of the Ra's al Ghul figure from Batman Begins. There were actually 2 different versions of this released. There was a special edition which came with the masked head, and the regular version which only had the unmasked head. Now there's no way to army build these guys. They're crazy expensive. These are cloth good figures, sort of Soap Studios take on what Mezco's doing, except they did it worse, and they made it cost more, and they forced you to buy a 2-pack. Personally, don't recommend Soap Studios. I mean, this figure is nice for what it is, but it's outrageously overpriced for what you get. But kind of cool. Comparable version of this. Mafex, once again, destroys Soap Studios. Now here he is next to my favorite versions of some of the Ra's al Ghul family. On the far left here, this is a Marvel Legends Netflix Electro figure. I use her as a Nyssa Al Ghul substitute. Nyssa is Talia's sister. Here's a custom Talia that I made. Here's, of course, the Mafex Ninja. Here's a custom Ra's al Ghul that I made. Here's a custom Ubu that I purchased. Great figure. And then here's a Mortal Kombat figure that I used for a substitute for the Sensei. Now here he is next to all the different 6 and 7 inch Ra's al Ghuls in my collection. From left to right, first we've got the Mattel DC Universe Classics Maddie exclusive Ra's al Ghul. Then next we've got a custom Ra's al Ghul I made years before that came out pretty similar to this guy. He used a Trinity Ra's al Ghul cape, Hush Ra's al Ghul head, and a DC Universe Clark Kent body repainted. Batman Main Series Ra's al Ghul, Arkham City Ra's al Ghul, Hush Ra's al Ghul. Then we've got the Mafex Ninja, Mafex Ra's al Ghul, Mafex Ra's al Ghul, and a Mafex John Wick body, Mattel Movie Masters Ra's al Ghul, and then last Soap Studios Ra's al Ghul. And in my action figure world, I'll probably end up doing something like this. Soap Studios Unmasked Ra's al Ghul will be him when he's in his ninja outfit. Soap Studios masked. Ra's al Ghul will be sort of the leader of the ninja group with 8 of these Mafex guys to take his orders. And here are a couple more dioramas that I think are appropriate for Ra's al Ghul type of scenarios. We've got the Gargoyles Castle on the left, and then the Masters of the Universe Castle Grayskull. I bought both these items with the intent to use it with my Ra's al Ghul gang. And as you can see, here are the Maifix ninjas taking orders from Ra's. Their castle area. Here come the rest of the Ra's al Ghul League of Shadows taking orders from Malcolm Merlin. And you can see his family up top with him. Just works perfect for these purposes. Absolutely love army building. And then here's my Ra's al Ghul base as its home in Gotham City. You can see the doorways there leading to Castle Grayskull in here, the Gargoyles Castle here, shelf behind it. We've got those Japanese entryways, and then back here we've got a throne as well as his Lazarus pit. You can fill that thing up with water and use it as needed. Does take up a lot of space. Plan to probably do something different with it in the near future. And then here's a Batman engaged in combat with all 8 of these League of Shadows ninjas. Background pieces courtesy of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon figures, these 4 Asian entryways. As well as in the back, we've got, these are actually all by Mezco. On the 2 sides, we've got the Frankenstein doorway, and in the center is from an older Mezco line called Silent Screamers. The figure was Gollum, a very large, oversized figure. Both these things were sort of reminiscent of Castle or League of Shadows. I remember very large doorways in the Arkham City game. Kind of had that sort of vibe to it, in my opinion. Now, as far as we know, the Mafex Dark Knight Trilogy collection is complete. And as far as we know, they're not releasing any more figures. There's nothing they were waiting for. I sure hope that next month in San Diego Comic-Con they show us some additional figures. Personally, I would absolutely love to get Lucius Fox, Alfred, Rachel Dawes, Talia, John Blake, and Gordon. But they did release the core characters from all the movies. The collection is pretty impressive as it is. Now I must say that I enjoyed this figure a lot. I bought it for a very specific purpose. Most people are not going to be buying it for the same purpose as me. And it sure delivered on what I wanted. I wanted League of Shadows Army Ninjas from Batman Begins, and that is what I've got. If I were to rate this figure, I'd give him a good 8.5 out of 10. There are some things that make him not perfect. His neck was really annoying, but luckily it was easily rectified. Bicep cut would really help as well. But very pleased to have this army now. So thank you guys for watching this video. This is D Hunter. If you like the video, press like below. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. If you have anything you want to say, add it to the comments. Thank you guys again for watching. Once again, this is D Hunter, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.